you kind of want to fatigue them a little bit to get them tired, to show them, because as soon as the kid's tired, the passing just goes out the window.
Yeah.
So you really got to get fatigued. But these guys, with the Bond guys at the moment, we're just trying to work on getting the repetitiveness in the passing.
I was
Because
more referring to the target pass, so the person running onto it.
the receiver,
Static halfback doing the passes, but the receiver, you want him in a static position? Or
yeah, just static, yeah. And we get different things like get the ball and put it between two guys' legs just there, let him plant the ball with his feet. So then the number 9 has to get in there and actually take it way between two clamped feet. Some people can use tyres, or some people can get a shield, a hit shield, and just put that under a hit shield or on the other side of the hit shield. That's getting a little bit more advanced, but it's sort of getting, you've got to take the baby steps first. So get the baby steps first, because you're not going to do a better pass because you've got to go, if you haven't got the skills down, you're never going to get it right by jumping over a hit shield or ripping out someone's leg if you can't do it without any pressure. First up.
All
All
right, we might pull up there, Brad.
right, thanks.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Peter, come on out and I'll introduce you very quickly. Look, I've been watching Sport in Australia for 50 years now, and it just seemed every time when I was growing up and I turned on sport, whether it was cricket, tennis, Olympics, whatever, Ben Mears was commentating. And I think having been around at the top of his game for so long is a testament to sort of Peter's standing in that in the industry. So it's a real honour for us to have Peter here tonight. I was lucky enough in 1997. I went to Sri Lanka with Peter on a tour to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Ceylonese Rugby Union, which we had a couple of curries and a couple of beers when we were there just to wash them down. And then when I arrived here this year, I've been doing the work with Bond Colts and was fortunate enough to run into Peter again, who's actually their media coordinator. So, Peter, welcome.
Thanks, mate.
All yours.
Thanks, mate. And I must say I was very thrilled to meet Murray because my first training session, I had actually had a crook hip and I was scheduled for a hip replacement. So I rode my bicycle to get to training, and I didn't know anyone except for Gary Nusifora vaguely, who'd asked me to come down, and Tim Rowlands, who I'd sort of met 50 years before, you know, somewhere in my different past. And the first bloke I bumped into was Murray. And he said, the first thing he said was, I haven't seen you since 97 in Colombo. I thought a whole lot better. So thanks very much, mate.
That's all right, mate.
Thanks for inviting me here tonight. You've had the meat and potatoes from Brad. I listened with great interest to the, I suppose you'd call it didactic nature of his talk. You know, he was passing on information to you. I'm not going to give you any information. I don't know anything about coaching. But I can tell you that I've interviewed the best coaches. You know, I've interviewed John Buchanan, Bob Templeton, Rick Charlesworth, Wayne Bennett, you name them, I've interviewed a lot of them. And I can tell you this guy, Sean Hedger, who's coaching at Bond University, is as good as any I've come across. In his thoroughness, attention to detail, man-to-man communication, everything. Good bloke, but very smooth operator. To beat brothers, 3 wins in a row, 3 wins out of 4, should have been university. He's got what I thought was an ordinary mob of cattle playing very good football at the moment, but we'll find out in the next few weeks because there's been 3 home games. But I'm not here to talk about Bond University rugby tonight. I sort of nose out. Well, actually, we had a coffee and I just chatting away. I told him a couple of stories from my career. And as I said, he'd been listening to me for 50 years. Well, in 2018, that'll be my 50th year in the media. I started in 1968 with the ABC, with Gordon Bray and Drew Morford, with the other trainees, so we're the same vintage. To give you some perspective, I was coached by blokes like Alan McGilvray, Norman May, doyens of the sport. So I was very lucky to get really good training, and I was sent from Sydney to Hobart. I had a year there, knew nothing about Aussie rules. First week I was there, I was hosting 2 Aussie rules programs.